Welcome back to Bookish Dives. If you're joining us for the first time, this is where we grab source material, you send in articles, research, sometimes like today, a really powerful book.
Yeah, and we really try to get past the surface summary.
Exactly. We dive straight into the actionable stuff, the takeaways you can actually use. We've done a few dives like this before, always focused on pulling out practical insights.
And today we're tackling something, well, pretty big, often a bit uncomfortable. This deep-seated fear many of us have about being alone.
It's a huge topic.
And our source for this dive is Renuka Gavrani's book, The Art of Being Alone. Solitude is my home, loneliness was my cage. It's quite illuminating.
Okay, so what's the core idea here? What's our mission with this book?
Well, the book's goal, and ours today really, is to quickly challenge that common idea that being alone is, some kind of curse.
Right.
And instead, it offers this framework. It's in two parts for actually turning loneliness into intentional growth. Real, focused personal development.
Okay, intentional growth. But let's start with why this is so urgent. The stakes are incredibly high, aren't they?
They really are. This isn't just about feeling a bit down.
No. The book kicks off by citing former Surgeon General Dr. Vivek Murthy. And his finding is just staggering.
It really is. He found that chronic loneliness and weak social ties, they're linked to a drop in lifespan similar to smoking 15 cigarettes. Every single day.
15 cigarettes a day, that's wow.
It stops you in your tracks, right? And it makes you ask, okay, why? Why are we so profoundly afraid of just being with ourselves?
Which brings us straight to that central conflict the book explores.
Yeah.
The difference between being alone and being lonely. They sound similar, but they're worlds apart.
Totally different thing.
Okay, so let's unpack that. The author's argument is interesting. She says this fear isn't really innate, it's something we learn.
Yeah, it's taught, often starting way back in childhood. Think about it, all those stories or movies.
Oh, yeah.
The person sitting alone at lunch, or the one without a partner. They're almost never the cool one, are they?
No, they're the weirdo, or the misfit, or maybe just someone kind of pathetic waiting for someone else to come along and rescue them.
Exactly. And that narrative builds this cultural dread. It's all driven by the fear of being judged, of being seen as, well, unwanted.
So if that fear of judgment is the root, the book draws a really clear line in the sand, linguistically speaking.
It does. Being alone, that's just a circumstance. It happens.
It's just part of adulting, right? Friends move, jobs change, relationships end.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're just physically by yourself.
But loneliness, that's the emotion. That's the story you tell yourself about being alone.
How does the book define it?
It defines loneliness as seeing yourself through this lens of, misery and self-pity, feeling insecure about it. And that actively chips away at your self-respect.
So even if you're surrounded by people, you can still feel that loneliness if that's your internal narrative.
Precisely. If you treat your alone time like a curse, having others physically present doesn't fix the core issue.
Okay, and this leads to a point the author makes that's, well, maybe a little tough, but necessary.
Yeah, a bit of a reality check.
Stop waiting for the movie plot. Stop, as she puts it, romanticizing loneliness.
Right. Believing that some perfect friend, like a Joey and Chandler duo or a romantic hero is just going to magically appear and fix everything for you.
And relying on that fantasy. The book is pretty blunt about it.
It calls it nurturing false hope in your heart just to see them crushing every piece of you at the end. Oof.
Yeah, it's harsh, but it's meant to shake you, right? To move from being passive to actually taking control.
Definitely. And the big takeaway here, the critical shift, is realizing that your biggest enemy, your harshest critic, it isn't other people judging you.
It's you.
It's you. You're the one passing judgment on yourself based on what you imagine others might be thinking. You're fueling the anxiety.
Which makes that Taylor Swift quote the author uses so perfect.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
The scary news is you are on your own now. But the cool news is you are on your own now.
Exactly. It reframes the whole thing. What feels like a potential tragedy is actually an opportunity.
Okay, so that clarity about self-judgment leads us into the next big problem, identity. If we're so scared of what others think, what does that do to our actual self?
Well, yeah, the book argues that the real core pain here is the pain of hiding who you truly are.
Right, because we're afraid of being labeled that weirdo, so we become people pleasers.
Chronic people pleasers, saying yes when we mean no, wearing things that aren't comfortable, putting on a persona.
All to avoid judgment. And the author says that is the absolute worst kind of loneliness.
Exactly. It's not about lacking people around you. Loneliness truly hits when you lose your real self
You could be in a massive crowd.
and feel completely lost, unable to connect with the person you actually are inside. That internal disconnect is devastating.
So how do we fix that? How do we rebuild that connection? The book offers a framework, right? 2 pillars.
2 pillars for self-love, yeah.
Yeah.
The first one is self-acceptance.
Okay, what does that mean in practice?
It means really acknowledging everything inside you.
Yeah.
Everything. Be it good or bad, as the author says.
So not just the parts we like.
No, especially the parts we don't like. The book uses this idea that even villains in stories teach us something valuable, that our dark side, our flaws, they're still part of us.
We shouldn't just try to shove them down or hide them
Or
behind some mask of perfect goodness.
Right. The author gives her own example, like accepting the truth. Okay, I can be selfish sometimes.
Which feels uncomfortable to admit.
Sure. But unchecked selfishness is bad. But that same drive, that focus on your own needs, maybe you can channel that into, say, ambition for your career or learning to set healthier boundaries.
So self-love isn't about pretending flaws don't exist. It's about understanding them and turning them into focused strengths.
Exactly. That's pillar 1.
And the second pillar.
Self-knowledge. And this is really important. The book stresses this isn't like a quick fix or a weekend workshop.
It's a lifelong thing.
It's a lifelong journey, yeah.
Yeah.
Because you are constantly changing and evolving.
Okay, so how do we practice this ongoing self-knowledge?
There are 3 key practices laid out. First, come face-to-face with your mind.
Yeah.
Think about why solitude often feels so hard at the beginning. Your mind just instantly goes to
Worries, regrets, anxieties, the to-do list.
Exactly. And what do we usually do?
Distract ourselves, scroll on our phones, turn on Netflix, stay busy.
Right. But this practice is about intentional engagement. Instead of running away, you actually schedule meetups with your mind.
Meetups with your mind. Okay.
Yeah, to sit with those thoughts, understand the triggers, face the stuff you've buried, knowing yourself, even the uncomfortable bits, that's where real freedom starts.
That makes sense. It's uncomfortable but necessary. What's the second practice?
Practice 2 is know thyself, be undefinable.
Undefinable. How so?
Well, the world loves labels, right? It wants to stick tags on you. Good person, bad person, lawyer, teacher, parent, single, married.
Yeah, neat little boxes.
And if your whole sense of self revolves around just one of those tags, say your job title, and then you lose that job.
Your whole identity collapses. You feel like a failure.
Exactly. So the goal here is liberation from those limiting tags. Become, as the book says, indescribable to yourself.
Oh.
By recognizing you're not just one thing. You're this complex collection of experiences, memories, songs you love, ideas you have, relationships. You can't be summed up in a single word.
That sounds incredibly freeing, actually. More resilient.
It is. And the third practice helps clarify this. Define who and what you are not.
Okay, that sounds counterintuitive. Define what you're not.
Yeah, it's often faster and gives you more clarity than trying to pin down exactly who you are. Think about your values, your principles. What won't you accept? What lines won't you cross?
Okay. So setting non-negotiables.
Precisely. When you know what you don't want, what you're rejecting, you automatically raise your standards. You stop accepting the bare minimum in life, in relationships.
And presumably you start attracting people in situations that align better with that higher standard.
That's the idea. But there's a warning attached here, a pretty sharp one.
Oh, what's the warning?
The author puts it rather bluntly. She basically says, the world is full of clowns, so maybe keep your newly discovered, possibly unpopular opinions to yourself sometimes.
Hang on. That feels contradictory. The whole point is authentic self-knowledge, rejecting external judgment. Now she's saying self-censor. Isn't that just falling back into people-pleasing?
That's a really good point, and it needs clarification. I don't think the book means permanent silence or hiding your true self again.
Okay.
It seems more about strategic clarity for you versus performing that clarity for everyone. The internal work is defining what you're not setting those boundaries inside yourself. That protects you.
Right.
But feeling the need to constantly announce or debate those newfound principles with every single person, especially those the author calls clowns, well, that's just draining. It shifts your focus back to seeking external validation or getting into pointless arguments.
Okay, I see. So the clarity is primarily for your own internal compass, your own sovereignty, not necessarily for public debate or approval.
Exactly. It's about internal strength, not external conflict.
Got it. That makes more sense. So once you've built this foundation, self-acceptance, self-knowledge, internal boundaries, the book moves into part 2.
Right, which is all about using that solitude as an engine for growth. This is the big shift. Seeing alone time not just as okay, but as something incredibly valuable, something to actively use.
And there are historical examples of this, right? People deliberately seeking solitude.
Oh, tons. The book mentions people like Georgia O'Keeffe heading out to the New Mexico desert for that silence she needed to create her iconic paintings.
Or Nikola Tesla, who talked about needing seclusion for his mind to get sharper and keener.
Exactly. Solitude cuts out the noise, the distractions. It allows for deep focus, which the book argues is maybe the only way to create real art, whether that's painting, writing, or even developing a new business idea.
And there's a contrast drawn with today's world.
Yeah, a stark one. People who are actually achieving things, moving towards their goals, they tend to crave solitude. They need that focus.
While people who are constantly distracted
Often spend their time scrolling social media, maybe judging others, filling the silence rather than using it.
So the book frames it as focus is the new luxury.
Absolutely. Our attention is constantly under siege. We act like it's limitless, but it's not, which leads to the next practice. Digest, reflect, and reset.
Is it the stomach analogy part?
That's the one. Think about it. Constantly consuming information, news alerts, social media feeds, emails, streaming. It's like eating mental junk food all day long.
Makes your brain feel sluggish, overwhelmed.
Totally. You can't think clearly. So conscious solitude is like giving your brain a chance to detox.
To actually process the important stuff, digest it, and kind of flush out the mental clutter.
Exactly. If you never give your mind that break, how can it possibly come up with new ideas or insights? It needs downtime.
Which leads perfectly into the next practice, one that feels almost radical today. The art of getting bored.
Dolce far niente.
The sweetness of doing nothing. It sounds lovely, but feels impossible.
It feels impossible because we're addicted to constant stimulation, cheap entertainment. But the book argues that consciously choosing to do nothing, to just sit with silence, is incredibly powerful.
How so?
It builds patience, it builds self-control, resisting that urge to immediately fill the void, and the payoff.
Creative ideas.
Often, yes. The best ideas, the book suggests, rarely show up when you're desperately searching for them. They tend to bubble up when your mind is relaxed, wandering, maybe a little bored. Boredom is actually fertile ground.
Okay, so these are the mindsets and practices. But how do we make it concrete? Is there an action plan?
Yes. Chapter 9 lays out a specific action plan for growth. The goal is to make your dreams your new best bud, as the author puts it.
Your best bud. Okay.
But first, you need to get clear on what those dreams actually are. Stop aiming for that vague aesthetic life everyone seems to post online.
Define success for you.
Exactly. And the way to start is by simplifying. Step 1, identify one big issue, just one to start. You can't overhaul your career, health, finances, and relationships all at once. It's just overwhelming. So what's the single biggest thing causing you anxiety or stress right now? Pick one.
Okay, focus. Then what?
Step 2, one big action. And this needs to be an action goal, something you do, not just an outcome you hope for.
Do you give an example?
The author shares her own. Instead of a vague goal like become a successful writer, her action goal was write one article every single day on Medium.
Okay, specific and repeatable.
Exactly. And doing that one thing consistently, day after day, apparently transformed her career and built massive confidence. It's about the action, not just the wish.
That makes sense. What's the third step?
Step 3, know your nature and sync your activities. This is crucial. Stop blindly copying other people's routines.
Like the 5 a.m. club.
Exactly. If that works for someone, great. But if you're a night owl, forcing yourself up at 5 a.m. is just going to make you miserable and probably less productive.
So work with your natural rhythm, not against it.
Yes. Find ways to pursue your goals that feel comfortable, maybe even fun for you. If you hate the gym, don't force it. Maybe dancing is your thing for fitness. If you work best late at night, structure your day around that. Make the process suit your nature.
Okay, so know yourself, focus on one issue, take one consistent action, and do it in a way that aligns with who you are. That's the growth plan.
That's the core of it.
So the final piece seems to be about making this solitude, this alone time, not just productive, but enjoyable, even addictive.
Exactly. How do you make the time you spend with yourself something you actually look forward to? The core instruction is pretty simple, but profound. Treat yourself like someone you really, truly love.
How does that translate into actions?
Well, first, you need to be intentional. Adults often kind of drift, subconsciously expecting other people to entertain them or make them happy.
Right.
So you need to actively create multiple sources of joy for yourself. This could be small things, really savoring that morning coffee, noticing the quiet on an evening walk.
Mindful appreciation.
Yes. Or it could be actively creating joy, learning a new skill you're curious about, like the author mentions taking up crocheting.
Yeah.
Something just for you.
And another key action.
Feed your brain with knowledge. The book really pushes back against this idea that books are boring.
Which, let's be honest, school sometimes makes them feel that way.
Right, like a punishment. But the book urges you. Use your alone time to read things that genuinely pique your curiosity. Find books that offer wisdom you feel you're lacking.
The author calls books honest friends that won't leave you.
It's a nice way to put it. They offer perspective and knowledge whenever you need it.
Okay, so creating joy, feeding your mind. This all builds towards the final, really powerful point in the book's framework.
Which is?
Become independent.
Ah, yes. The ultimate goal.
And the simple truth behind it is, well, pretty straightforward.
People can't operate according to your script. They just can't. They have their own lives, their own needs, their own dramas. You can't rely on them to perfectly manifest whatever you've imagined.
It's not their job.
It's not their job. So the lesson becomes...
do the things that you wanted to do with others. By yourself.
Exactly. Take yourself on that date. If you imagined a lovely picnic, pack a basket, grab your book or journal, find a nice spot, and have that picnic.
If you wanted a cozy night in with pampering, create a self-care sleepover for yourself. Candles, pasta, iced coffee, a movie, whatever feels good.
You fulfill the desire for connection, comfort, experience without making it dependent on someone else showing up.
And the final instruction here is really about mindset.
Romanticize the actions that you take for yourself.
I love that. Don't just do it, but appreciate it. Celebrate it. Take yourself out to dinner and enjoy it. Buy yourself that flower.
Or write yourself that letter, like, I miss myself. Acknowledge and meet your own desires, because waiting for someone else to do it.
You could be waiting a long time. You'll starve waiting for someone else to serve the dish, as the author implies.
Precisely. It's about taking radical responsibility for your own well-being and happiness.
Wow. Okay, that really brings the whole journey together. The transformation the book offers seems huge.
It is. And ultimately, the choice is yours, isn't it? You can see your isolation as a cage, feel helpless, maybe cry about it.
Yeah.
Or you can choose to just keep walking, to see that alone time as the dedicated space you need to journey towards the life you actually want. Solitude, when you learn how to wield it, it's a privilege. It really is, not a curse at all.
That leaves us with a pretty potent final thought, doesn't it? A challenge for everyone listening.
I think so. If solitude is the key to focus, to growth, to real independence, are you willing right now to embrace your full self?
The good, the bad, the messy, the undefinable, all of it.
Yeah. Are you willing to embrace all of that? Or are you going to keep waiting for that hero, that rescuer, to show up and finally give you permission to live your life?
A powerful question to sit with. Well, that was our bookish dive into the art of being alone. Solitude is my home. Loneliness was my cage by Renuka Gavrani.
A really insightful read.
Definitely. If you found value in breaking down this material with us, getting straight to the application, be sure to follow Bookish Dives. We'll be back with more deep analyses of the sources you want to explore.